I literally just got my results back from my bone test, and it turns out I'm not even half as bullish as I should be. As we see, Bitcoin now is currently at all-time highs. Ethereum as well is breaking out. Something big is happening, but in fact, it actually might even be bigger than literally the biggest thing you could imagine. So let's just completely dump into it. Bloomberg saying the US government shutdown is actually pushing investors to buy Bitcoin as a safe haven asset, while the East is stacking gold. Especially in China. The West is currently buying Bitcoin, especially as we're getting infrastructure built out. Both are at record highs, and central banks are obviously losing control. They shouldn't have control because they've been mismanaging that, obviously, for, since the beginning of mankind. This is gold, absolutely just exploding vertically. Bitcoin lags gold, but it's correlated with gold. That's another reason why we can expect Bitcoin to continue to follow this trend. And nobody has enough Bitcoin, obviously. This is how much available Bitcoin there is left. This tiny itsy bitsy little triangle right here. And this is how much available capital is going to be competing for this. So in order for that to happen, this capital achieving this tiny amount of Bitcoin, well, you're going to be paying a lot for that Bitcoin, is the easiest way to say that. And BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is now their most profitable ETF. Let that sink in. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is closing in on 100 billion, their most profitable ETF. And this thing is only getting started. This thing is less than 2 years old, and it's their most profitable ETF. The writing is on the wall. I was saying this back the week that the Bitcoin spot ETFs got approved, and within the first couple of weeks, we saw how profitable and how successful they were. Turns out they're going to be even more successful than the most bullish prediction on how successful they would be. And the last time that Bitcoin's weekly Bollinger Band squeezed this hard, it's not the only thing getting squeezed hard, but the last time the Bitcoin Bollinger Band squeezed this hard was in 2016, before basically the biggest altcoin rally that's ever happened in the entire space, by the way, in 2016 and 2017. The crypto bull run for altcoins by far. Up until that time, Bitcoin dominance was always above 90% dominance. And then that bull run specifically was when altcoins brought Bitcoin well below 90%, below 50%, even I think below 40%. But the last time Bitcoin Bollinger Bands on the weekly squeezed this hard was back in 2016. Look where we're at now. I think we're long overdue for a squeeze even larger than that, especially considering, and I've said this many times over the past couple years, 2020 and 2021's bull run was very underwhelming. It was disappointing. I think diminishing returns is a myth. So far, there have been diminishing returns on many of the cryptos, but now we're seeing actual adoption. Now we're seeing fundamental framework get put out there. It's a different game. It's not the same game that we've been seeing for the last couple cycles. It's completely different. That's why we saw Bitcoin hit new all-time highs before the halving for the first time ever. And it's why we're seeing this cycle seem just different in general. We basically, a lot of people were saying we should have topped a day or two ago based on the 1,064 days from top to top or whatever. The rules are changing. Bitcoin's now at all-time highs. Google search volume is at all-time lows. Basically, what does that mean? There's no euphoria whatsoever. We're sitting at all-time highs for Bitcoin. Right now, today, within the last minute, within minutes, hours, depending on when you're watching this, we've broken new all-time highs, and look at the interest on Bitcoin. Nobody cares. This thing hasn't even gotten started yet. Altcoins have barely gotten started yet, but they are signaling that bone mode is absolutely beginning. And believe it or not, this is absolutely gargantuan. This is the fourth time since 2019 that Bitcoin absolute bone mode has activated. Don't ask me how I calculated bone mode. Just believe it. Also, somebody asked me in reply, "Are you bullish?" No, I'm not bullish. I'm bonish. I don't even know what that means. But bullish, $18 billion in longs, says Bitcoin is going to go higher. Traders are stacking $18 billion in bullish Bitcoin positions, while $1 billion in shorts will get liquidated at new all-time highs. The biggest liquidation that you could ever imagine. Are you bullish or are you bearish? Or may I present to you the option, are you bonish? Bitcoin, this is how I think this could happen, right? I think it makes sense. Bitcoin will move fast, 130, 140, 150K, maybe within a day or two, maybe in the same day. It'll, maybe have a swing back to 120 within that same week. Alts will explode, and then Bitcoin will swing back to 150, maybe some sideways consolidation. Next thing you know, up to nearly 200. As the entire stock market plummets and fiat currencies suffer with extreme inflation, the easiest way to summarize this is that you should be buying Bitcoin. Have I said that before? Buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 14% since last week and about 8.7% since October 1st. It's playing catch up to gold and the rest of the risk on assets. Close analog to last October and November. This is last October and November. I think this one's going to be way stronger, obviously. Bullish. Michael Saylor also, this is something he said a while ago, but every billionaire will buy $1 billion of Bitcoin and the supply shock will be so great, we will stop measuring Bitcoin in terms of fiat. I don't think we should be using fiat. Fiat is garbage. Also, remember this goofball? He was. This is back a couple years ago when Bitcoin was at 16,000. This guy, the most smug person potentially that's ever existed, claimed it had no intrinsic value and was going to zero. It's up almost 700% since then. And he has not really made any comments since then because why? Excuse my language again. I don't mean to be crude, but this guy's a big ding dong. You know what I mean? Just potentially even a ding dong times two. Just a giant ding dong. Rest in peace. What does this top comment say here? I stopped following Peter after this. He clearly had no idea what he was talking about, and he said it with the same confidence level he has with other issues. Made me question. Yeah, I mean, when you see people say things like this, and I actually just talked about this yesterday, but like when people are very, very confident about many things, and they dismiss any type of criticism or whatever, or opposing viewpoints, a lot of the times it's because they're full of baloney. And this guy is the definition of somebody who is full of baloney. Also, he has a ponytail. No offense to anyone that has ponytails, but like, this guy's kind of a ding dong. Bitcoin whale sold heavily in September, keeping price action muted. Selling pressure is now easing just in time for October. Also, keep in mind, look how much selling pressure there was here. Massive amounts of selling pressure, and Bitcoin couldn't even get pushed below 100K. I think the lowest it got last month was about 107K. And it quickly rebounded. In fact, yeah, let's take a look at that. This was in September, and here in August, in August it was 107K. Couldn't even get below 108K in September. Giga bounced after each one. Now look at us. Look at us go, right? Look at the Moon Boys. Bring back... Make Moon Boys great again. The quietest Bitcoin all-time high ever. Yeah, we're going a lot higher. I mean, yeah, truly. It doesn't seem like anyone cares about... I mean, I do, and a lot of you watching care about Bitcoin at all-time highs, but the rest of the world doesn't care. Millions will be made. Billions will be made. And trillions will be added to Bitcoin's market cap. And there's many trillions more left to get added. You're still somehow relatively early. Paul Tudor Jones, by the way, also saying Bitcoin is one of the biggest winners of this market. Digital gold is very appealing. It's an interesting clip if you want to watch it. He was on CNBC earlier. And as well, we have Ethereum crashing, but oops, this is a little bit of a switcheroo. This is actually inverted. It's actually pumping. It's crashing to the upside, you could say. Now that's just not bullish. That's giga bullish. And we see altcoins are about to go fully parabolic. We'll take a look at a second at the entire altcoin chart, signaling, again, massive breakout coming for that as well. This chart, I wanted to highlight just briefly that as I've discussed, I mean, this is a theory that I've been talking about and many people have talked about for the past year or so, but Bitcoin halving cycles didn't necessarily dictate these pumps, but more so liquidity cycles. And also, this post makes the case about basically not 4-year cycles, but now he's saying 5-year cycles. He's saying that we should expect a peak in about 4 or 5 months. And he's saying that the ISM manufacturing index is the main indicator as the economy turns towards expansion. Either way, I'm extremely bullish. Crypto is heading into the most thrilling and action-packed phase of the entire cycle. 10, 20, and 30x moves will soon be reality for a lot of alts. It happened. And 2017 is something I keep going back to as well, because I think 2017 is a much more fair comparison for both Bitcoin and altcoins in this cycle. I think it's going to be stronger than 2021. 2021, as I've said many times, is kind of a letdown. It was not as strong. And it had fundamental reasons probably why it shouldn't have been strong, because it was being cracked down on in America, in the US. The president back in 2021 was not very pro-Bitcoin. 2022, 2023. The administration, in fact, was literally under attack. The SEC was just trying to destroy crypto. That's not very bullish for the price, right? You have a fundamental backdrop where the SEC was going rogue and trying to destroy an industry that they should not have any say over. Awful time, very, very messed up, but that's in the past. But you can't lie, like that did affect the bull run. It wasn't good. Now we have the opposite. Now we have pro-crypto regulation, pro-crypto infrastructure being built. We're seeing on-ramps like we've never seen before. Every single week, some new news about positive crypto legislation or regulation or fundamental framework being built. That's another giant step. Massive, right? We also see the all-time high clearly was broken today. Bitcoin is not thinking about succumbing to bear market fantasies posted on X these past few weeks. Blue arrows usually touch new and old all-time highs several times until all sell orders are gone. So expect maybe some floating around this range before absolutely going straight up and liquidating many shorts. But as we said here, I mean, actually this is big. 16 years ago today, you could buy about a little over 1,000 Bitcoin for a single dollar. It was the first recorded actual dollar valuation of Bitcoin, and it was calculated by electricity cost to mine it back then. Just insane, right? Imagine. I didn't know about Bitcoin in 2009, right? I didn't know about it. I was the little baby. I was in preschool. I wasn't even born yet. Just kidding. I was born, but I was mentally a baby for sure. But yeah, obviously gold is just exploding, almost at 4,000 for the first time in history. We see that the altcoin, we've hit like a new all-time high in terms of the entire altcoin market cap. Ethereum is just exploding as well. Bitcoin looks fantastic here at new all-time highs. And I couldn't be more bullish. And you should be bullish here unless you're a big ding dong. That's really the only prerequisite to being bullish is you can't be a ding dong. That's it. And you only have 2 days left to get signed up with FEMX below if you want some nice bonuses. You can always get up to about $30,000 in deposit bonuses if you use my link below, but you can get an extra $2,000 if you just sign up within the next 2 days. If you want to trade, buy altcoins or Bitcoin. Without any further ado,